Hey guys, welcome to Piano Rogues. I'm Ari.
And I'm Alair.
And today we are going to be doing a 1 minute, 10 minute, 1 hour challenge.
Yep, I get to practice a piece for 1 minute, and then 10 minutes, and then an hour. And I give you a checkup each time, and we'll see how I do. The piece that we've chosen is The Butterfly by Edvard Grieg.
That's why it has butterfly.
Oh, that's why the butterfly.
Yes, of course that's why the butterfly.
I'm a little slow on the uptake, okay? This is Opus 43, number 1. So, shall we get started?
Sure.
Why did you do that way? It's so awkward.
I thought we were going to say more things.
What else do we need to say?
I guess nothing, apparently.
What did you think you needed to say? I'm sorry. I will just...
Well, we could tell them that we have a Patreon.
We could tell them that.
And that we do behind the scenes videos on our Patreon.
We do that. You guys want to see really awkward things that Ari decides to put on there. Me in my weird moments. Go check out our Patreon. Am I allowed to start now?
I guess so.
Good? Okay.
Here we go. 1 minute. It's going to be my very first time trying this. Super exciting.
So, how did 1 minute go?
As usual with 1 minute of practicing, I pretty much just had time to sight read it. I read through the A section and I was about to take the repeat and then the timer went off.
Let's see what you have.
It'll be my second read through. That was as far as I got. That was the end of the A section. Next I do 10 minutes, and we'll see how that goes. On my mark, get set, frantically practice. So, with 10 minutes of practicing, I was able to spend a little time studying the chromatic scales and get a little bit better at playing those because there's a lot. Thankfully, they kind of mostly repeat. It wasn't like it was too difficult, but I did have to spend a little bit of time on them. And then I was able to practice the rest of the piece a little bit. I got to read through the entire thing and then go back and work on a couple of things a little bit extra. One of the things that gives me a leg up on a piece like this is knowing what a chromatic scale is, and anytime I see a passage that I recognize as being chromatic, I know that that means one way or another I have to play all of the white and black keys from wherever it starts to wherever it ends. There's typically a general way of playing chromatic scales. Usually, you use your thumb on the white keys, and you're going to use your third finger on the black keys, and then anytime you have a gap between the black keys, you use finger 2. There were some exceptions in this piece, and that was why I needed to study those passages a little bit more to figure out why that exception was there, what it was intended to allow me to accomplish by having a slightly different fingering there. I ended up using their fingering mostly as they suggested, but I decided on using my thumb a little bit more than they did in certain places just to simplify it so I could learn it faster.
Do you foresee areas that you're going to struggle on?
Yes, I do. I need to spend a little bit more time on this. Like, I need to get that under my fingers a little bit better. Also, this bit, I need to learn those notes better. I need to figure out where I'm skipping and what I'm skipping to. All right, so for comparison, since I played the A section before, I'm gonna play the A section again. Yep, it's so much better. It actually is a little bit better. I just had a hard time getting started.
1 hour. Setting it on your card.
So very exciting.
Ready, set.
Boop. And we're going. This time, my plan was to try to get some more muscle memory in there, hopefully, with these intervals. All that stuff. So I did, for the most part. There's still times when I second guess myself and my left hand totally doesn't know what it's doing in certain places, but it tries. I was also trying really hard to pay attention to the dynamics as marked. Also, there are places where I'm supposed to slow down and then go back to the original tempo. I'm taking a little bit of extra liberty in certain places with slowing down, just because I think it's just super nice. But then again, if I was to listen to myself play this, I might have a different opinion upon just listening to it. Sometimes it feels and sounds different when you're playing it than when you're just listening. Guess I'll find out post. If I had more time to practice this, I would definitely want to get my left hand more accurate. I'd want to make sure that I'm getting all of these every time that I play them, because I'm sure not right now. There are a couple of spots where I'm supposed to be pianissimo, and it's kind of hit or miss. I really, really, really want the pianissimo because it's so nice when it happens, but sometimes I'm just not able to pull back enough in my touch yet because I just don't know it well enough yet. I did a little bit of blocked chord practice, doing that kind of thing, because it's supposed to be like this. So I figured doing some blocked chords would help me learn the notes better, and it did. I also did a little bit of short long and long short practice on this. That helped me get that a little bit more under control. We actually have a video on these tactics. It's kind of old now, but if you want to see it, it's somewhere. One of these two sides. Also, I changed the fingering a little bit. It says to use 5 and then 1, and then this is where the fingering's a little funky. You go 2, 3, 1 right there, and then there's another one where it's a little different. You go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. I changed it because instinctively I kept on wanting to reach 2 down to that sharp instead of landing on 1. And rather than continue to fight it, I just let it happen because I was like, okay, well, what if I just go with it? And it turns out that I was still able to play it very well using that alternate fingering. It didn't hurt it, and it was what I wanted to do instinctively. If you can't win, join it. Given my time constraint, I decided to stop fighting that battle and just go with it.
Why do you choose what you write marks on? You make notes with your pencil.
Oh, gosh, it was really just to help me because I kept on forgetting things. I circled my pianissimo mark and then I wrote some sharps in because I kept on forgetting they were supposed to be sharp. I honestly didn't make very many marks on this. Just a couple of sharps. There was one fingering that I marked. That was pretty much it.
You give them permission to write on their music.
Oh, absolutely. If you need to mark up your music, go to town. The only thing that I would say as caution is if your goal is to learn how to read music, don't get in the habit of writing every single letter name on every single note, because that's not going to help you in the long run. In practicing this, learning to mostly play it, this piece really feels like a butterfly. I was honestly just really enjoying playing this piece, and it sounds the way a butterfly looks when it flies, at least to me. I wholeheartedly applaud Grieg for his musical illustration of a butterfly. We are doing this for the sake of YouTube entertainment, and also just to push me a little bit and see how much I can do in a set amount of time. This is not typically how I would practice, because I know that my mental saturation for learning a thing is somewhere between a half hour and 45 minutes. And then I start to get fatigued, and I'm not really usually making any more significant forward progress on something. Everybody's brain works differently. If you need to switch up and practice a different piece for a while, or maybe even just step away from your piano and go do something totally different for a few minutes, that's totally fine. Don't feel like you are doing something wrong if you're not practicing for an entire hour on the same piece. And in fact, there's also the risk that you're building in bad habits if you're pushing yourself beyond mental saturation and your brain just isn't braining anymore. Still did it. It's just so piercing. It's just so loud.
What have we accomplished? Where are we at?
I would say this piece is probably about 60 to 70% learned right now, which is honestly fairly decent. Tomorrow it won't be 60 or 70%. And in fact, the last 30 to 40% of learning a piece usually takes longer than the first bit of learning a piece. So I guess we'll find out.
Thanks for letting us steal your screens for a while.
Stay rogue.